welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. Alright, okay, got a good bunch of stuff, including some things I don't need or want, but that's normal. Bust out here. Okay, no unpleasant people about. And we find the west, which is this way, and move onwards to the FarLands, as we do in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, walking to the FarLands, journeying to raise money for charity, Child's Play charity, and perhaps others as well, who knows. But the idea is to enjoy the epic scenery to be found in this version of Minecraft, as we journey towards the epic, almost but not quite mythical FarLands, because they're not mythical, they do exist, but they don't exist in any version of Minecraft after 1.7.3 beta. And so that's why we journey in beta 1.7.3. I make it a point to mention that every now and then, because every now and then somebody asks, why are you using this old version? Because I'm doing something that doesn't exist in a new version. That's the short answer. In any event, this is the morning of the 394th Minecraft day since leaving spawn. And the 129th episode. Have traveled a good long ways towards the FarLands. As a matter of fact, last March was the first pressing of F3. On the 25th of March, I had reached the point of having gone 610,748 blocks from spawn. That's 610 kilometers, and I did the math on that, and that worked out to like 379.5 miles. That's a good long ways to walk in Minecraft. But that's neither here nor there. It's way back there somewhere, because I'm continuing onwards with the intention of adding many more miles to this journey. And yeah, who wouldn't want to cruise across the ocean with C418 playing in the background and little bits of land appearing out of the fog in the distance? Yeah, it's a nice, peaceful, relaxing way to travel. Yeah, definitely good. Okay, another thing that I think is going to end up becoming another one of those traditional things in addition to the world size report, which I haven't done yet. Ooh, what do we got here? One update on the wrong block down there, and that whole mess goes down. I don't want to be standing on it when that happens. Anyway, the size of the world, as I just mentioned, that is 4,749.21 megabytes is the size of the world save currently. And the new feature is the size of the host. The current size of the host, as of this morning, is 291.4 pounds. And the host consumed 1,170 calories yesterday. Now, I realize that's low, but that's okay. Today is almost certainly going to be somewhat higher, because I really want it to be a little higher. I'm bordering on actually being hungry, and I've got a major case of the I wants. So having a little more calories in today will not be a problem. No one need concern themselves that I am doing something silly like starving myself or anything. Heaven forbid that should ever happen. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if, frankly, I could probably go a month on the stored fat alone. Although it would be a less than enjoyable time. Well, okay, we'll boat again. And that reminds me, I should pick up a little bit of wool and wood when opportunity presents. But anyway, some are no doubt wondering about the title, Coffee in My Eye. Well, there's a little story about that. Recently, I got a hold of, I was getting a hold of my coffee, and there wasn't much left in my mug. And so I figured, okay, I'll just finish this off and get a fresh mug full. I've got a fresh pot sitting there, so no problem. And I was in a hurry because of something. I don't even remember why, but I was in a hurry at the time. I think there was, okay, it's really kind of dumb. I was in a hurry because there was a video I wanted to watch. And the video was paused, and I was hurrying like it was old-time TV with a commercial, and I needed to be back before the commercial was over, or something like that. So I grabbed a coffee, and I just upended it to drink it down real quick and go get a fresh mug. And in doing that, I managed to slosh it or splash it or something like that, and the coffee splashed in the mug. And some of it, a droplet or two, ended up in my left eye as a result of splashing and bouncing and whatever it does, you know. Somehow it managed to end up a drop of it in my left eye, and that was just so much fun. Yeah. You ever do anything like that? I mean, you know how you do that. You go to take a drink of something, and if you're in a hurry, it gets kind of sloppy, it's splashy, and sometimes you might slosh it and splash some of it, whatever it is, out on the table or out on the floor if you're walking across the room at the time or whatever, you know. Yeah, well, this time one of those little droplets found its way into my eye. Fortunately, I don't put anything insane like jalapeno pepper in my coffee. That would be a really evil thing to have in your eye. Wouldn't it? Can you imagine that? Jalapeno pepper in the eye. That is like user shutters. Ugh. No thank you. Oh boy. Also, you may notice possibly the sound of a fan running, because surprisingly today, in spite of the fact that it's like 64 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and it almost guarantees to get cooler or colder as the day progresses into night, especially with the rain that we have received today. A long line of severe thunderstorms worked its way across the state this morning. And that's cooled things down some outside. And it brings the promise of cooler times ahead in the evenings and so on. But in spite of that, it's actually hot in here. I don't know what the actual temperature is right now because, strangely enough, my thermometer broke last winter, or summer that is, excuse me. It's a particularly hot day, and I went to check my thermometer to see how bad it was, and I couldn't because it had broken. I mean, the thing had literally broken in half. And exactly how that happened, I have no idea. I wasn't in the room at the time, I'm sure. I keep it hanging up. And as such, I don't even have to touch it to read it. I just look at it, you know? Looks like it's time to vote already. Oh, come on. I hear zombies, but I'm not curious enough to go look and find them. I'm just going to move on and look for sheep on the other shore. Oh, and then deal with a very brief pause. Ah, there we go. Now, if I remember to do the editing correctly, that will be a super brief, less than a second pause for you. It was 10 or 15 for me. Actually, I have to go back a little bit. That's too good. That is too good to ignore. Yeah. Get in a little closer. There we go. All right, HUD off. Screenshot. Yeah. Now, onwards to the FarLands. There we go. That's a thumbnail if ever I saw one. Oh boy, another epic desert with lots of epic floaty bits over there. Of course, they look floaty from here. Getting closer, other parts of them might load, but who knows? More importantly, who cares? We're not going that way, so... Oh, no. Oh, boy. I hope I don't have that happen again. Like, any time in the next 70 or 80 years, at least. Whoa. Okay. Time to make it safe to pass. This is one of the reasons I carry a bucket of water. Okay, I'm out here looking for sheep and so on, and here we are in the desert, the one place you are never going to find any. Of course, Minecraft is trolling me. Of course it is. That's okay. That's alright. I'll end up getting what I'm looking for anyway. Making it a point to look before jumping off of things and whatnot, because as that lava reminds us, it ain't safe to jump without looking first. Anyway, well, the fun continues, and I'm not just being sarcastic about that. The fun really does continue. Another thing I can update on is my explorations in Elite Dangerous. As of last night. I made some pretty good progress. Now, I started this particular expedition on the 22nd of June of this year. And since that time, I have been to 647 star systems and traveled a total of 5,248 light years from the starting point, from the start system that you begin the game in. And that's pretty good. And now I grant you, most people exploring are going to travel a heck of a lot farther distance in that time, on the order of maybe 10 times as far, perhaps even more, I don't know, because they emphasize ships with the highest jump range capacity possible, and even go to the point of getting their drives and whatnot engineered so that they can jump farther at a time. Me, I'm not jumping far at a time at all. I'm using a ship that has not been engineered. No part of it has. And I am using something that from what I have read on forums and so on, I am doing something that I think most pilots would cringe at. Most Elite Dangerous pilots would cringe at the idea of using economy routing to travel long distances, and doing it on purpose. Now, economy routing is an option in the your ship's flight computer when it comes to plotting a route somewhere across the galaxy. There is fastest routing, which will do what it says on the tin. It will plot your route in the manner that gets you there as fast as possible, using the longest jumps possible, and so on. And then there's economy routing, which deliberately routes you in such a way as to stop at lots of stars, ostensibly to refuel and whatnot with a fuel scoop, and so on. It means a lot of stops. I'm using economy routing because it means a lot of stops. Because every stop is another star system to scan with the Advanced Discovery Scanner, and another collection of planets and moons to scan with the Detailed Surface Scanner. Well, stars, planets, and moons. And so that's the way I'm doing that. And from what all I've read, that is completely counterintuitive to how most people do that. So I don't figure I'm going to anytime soon break any kind of distance records. And if there's any kind of a record I might be interested in breaking, it would be a length of mission record. And I have no idea what the record is, although I have heard at least stories about some unnamed pilot who had been out on a exploration expedition for like a year and a half or something like that. But I have not heard or seen or any kind of official record as to how far anybody's ever gone, or how long anybody's ever stayed out, or anything like that in one mission. But yeah, Okay. All that work going up just to come over here and go back down. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing there. I'm having fun with it. I enjoy it because I'm not doing it as the same reason that most, okay, maybe in some ways I am, but the primary reason I'm doing that is because it is something that I can do that is relaxing. It is a zero pressure event. You know, 5,000 some light years out away from the start system, you pretty well know that you're not going to encounter other pilots, which means you won't be encountering somebody who has decided they are going to be a pirate or something like that, for example. And the aforementioned pirate won't have any cause to blow you to kingdom come and ruin your whole day, because they do that sometimes. Sometimes they do that just simply for the sheer pleasure of knowing they have just ruined whatever it was you were doing by destroying you. And this is not something that is exclusive to Elite Dangerous. It is a thing in just about any MMO. You get people that decide that they are going to be pirates or whatever kind of thing, and it's their role-play way of playing the game is, I'm going to attack everybody that comes along and do that just simply because that's what my character does. And to a point I can see that, I get it. But at the same time, when you're out there just to kind of kick back and chill and relax, you don't need that nonsense. And so that's one of the reasons for being way out away from everything and all the other players. Anyway, I've probably rattled on about that too much as it is. I don't know. I find it interesting and whatnot, obviously, or otherwise I wouldn't do it. But I can't speak for y'all. What do you guys think of Elite and my little, admittedly, very little, pretty much nothing kind of mission to explore out into the deep for relaxation, for a certain amount of profit, and a large amount of vanity. I'll admit this, because when you sell exploration data, anything that you have discovered first gets your name on that object on the galactic map, first discovered by, and that stays there forever. So it's a way to permanently impact the game. And I want to have first discovered by tinfoil chef showing up on as many things as possible. And if I take a year or 2 years or whatever of flying around the galaxy to do it, then so be it. I'm perfectly willing to inflate my ego in that fashion. All right. Anyway, what else is going on? Okay, there is the subject of Livestream. Not too long ago, I made a big deal out of that, and I was going to go 3 days a week, yada, yada, yada. And then I made it the first day and the second day, and the third day didn't happen because the internet was just totally not cooperating enough. And it hasn't been doing extremely well now, this week either. I'll tell you right now, it hasn't. Well, to give you an idea, you know what time this video appears or is actually published. Or you know when it shows up. Although the date that it shows up that says published on the video, I can give you a little clue. That is not the actual date that it's published. That's the date that the upload started. Yeah, you may notice that the video doesn't actually show up until some considerable time after the time that it shows on the video. That's the date and time that the upload actually started. Not the date and time that I said publish. Yeah. But my upload times have been longer and longer all week, which is why I didn't even try with the live streaming Friday and Saturday. Although, to be perfectly honest, I should have said something about it, and I didn't. I was ever hopeful that I'd get it to go, and then ever discussed it that that wasn't going to happen. In any event, well, I'll put it this way. I started recording this video at approximately 10 a.m. Central Time. And when I finish recording, I will spend 15 to 20 minutes editing and rendering. Whoa! Oh, look first. That could have been a lot bigger drop. Well, 15 to 20 minutes editing, and then another 20 or 30 minutes to render. So I should be able to actually start the upload by 11:30. Approximately. That means that the rest of the delay will be the amount of time it takes to upload the video. And I have a sneaky feeling it's going to be a long time, because they have been slow of late. Things that ordinarily would take 2 hours are taking 2.5 or 3. The other day I had one take 3.5 hours to upload a 30-minute video. You can just imagine how overjoyed I am at taking that amount of time. An amount of time I could have watched the video 4 times or more than 4 times in the amount of time it took to upload. That's terrible. And I can't blame YouTube for that one. That is squarely on my internet provider. Because the connection provided is not fast enough. Yeah, well, it's an asynchronous connection. You know, you get a faster download than you do an upload. And I get a good 10 megabits a second download. As a matter of fact, I've had a few times where it has actually spiked at close to 12. But the upload rate is not anywhere remotely near so fast. I believe it's something like 892 or 8,920 kilobits, like 0.8 megabits per second. That is the connection speed according to my router. And yeah. in actual practice, some of that is, of course, overhead for this and that and the other. And then there's the simple fact that it just doesn't work out to be that fast. I end up having an average of 0.5 megabits per second upload rate on a good day. I haven't had a good day in a while in terms of upload. In the past, I have seen it be as slow as 0.05. That was an extra special day. That was one of those days where a 5-minute vlog took hours to upload. Or rather, would have. I ended up getting disgusting and getting totally disgusted and stopping the thing and going to sleep and trying again later or something. And of course, like I said earlier, it rained today. That's never good. So, I don't know. If it looks... I will hit some speed tests and whatnot, and I will do a few speed tests as the day progresses, and if it looks like I have enough of an acceptable connection, then the live stream will happen, and I will say so on Twitter, and so on and so forth. And we will commence to Kerbalize and have some fun with that. And if you don't hear from me about the subject of stream, then you can pretty well assume safely that conditions never got very good. Okay. Get this put down. Okay, I need boats. And beds. Definitely must go seeking out wood and wool for the next episode. Okay, get this collected. Alright, I got a bunch of stuff to throw away when I take off next time. In any event, thanks for watching, thanks for putting up with my rambling, and we'll see you next time. I am out of here.